Right, so I got the giant hole here. And I ground down to the metal around the edge, for the most part, for the panel bond to adhere to. And then I've got the vent. So I got all these tape marks to kind of help me line it up, as well as just a little bit of trimming here at the edge. Same with this side. So that'll go on, and you know, obviously gonna have to put some weight on this thing to flatten it out a little bit because it's a little too curved for the hood, but I think it'll end up turning out pretty good. Got to rig up some weights to hold this thing down. But yeah, we're getting close. I just need a little bit more heat. It's warming up today, so I can start getting this thing gluing. Okay, so part of this puzzle is some panel bond. So it's basically like a glue that's as strong as a weld, from what I've read. I've never used it before. But from the little research that I did, it comes with these guys, and this will go on and basically mix it for you as you dispense. So you don't need to like put it on a plate or anything like that and mix it separately. So you can just push it out and it'll pre-mix for you. And this is pretty funny, but kind of was the only way to get everything seated right. Couple of clamps, bunch of paint cans, some tent weights, and you know, cross your fingers and pray that it works and it's not all super warped. Well, I guess we'll find out in a day. Cue 1 day later. And the big reveal. Pretty stoked how this came out. Never cut a giant hole in the hood before or glued anything together. This was, you know, me just kind of going by eye and by hand on trying to make this thing flat. So obviously like little gap there, but really not bad. The sides were tough to get it to sit flush. I had to put a lot of weight on it. You know, minor little gap there and there, but really stoked. Corners came together real nice. The back side, just the center was a little bit tough. Realizing now I probably could have trimmed a little bit more right on these corners to get the middle to sit. But yeah, generally really happy. And the biggest space I have is right here on this left side. So like 2 little spots. But it's glued pretty good. I think it probably needs a little bit more time for a full cure. I brought it inside last night just to get it up to like 70 degrees or so in the house. So yeah, that definitely helps. And so right now I'm just going to use a little bit of JB on the underside. There was just a few little gaps and stuff that I want to fix. Where are we? I think it was this side that the bracing came a little loose. Yeah, like one of these edges is a little loose, so just gonna tack that down with some JB, maybe fill in some of the gaps. But yeah, really happy. And it's kind of the front view. Hopefully the hood still fits like it should. And I didn't warp the hell out of it, but I guess we'll find out. And we're on. Still happy. Everything still looks like it lines up pretty good. So I didn't ruin it, which is a win, because half this time I thought I was gonna ruin it. But all right, on to the next thing. There's still a lot of things. Okay, so yanked the steering rack out of the car, pulled it apart. If you're pulling this apart on your own MR2, don't forget about that bolt that if you're looking at the top of the rack from the pinion gear here, is on this side. I was an idiot and skipped that step in the BGB. Oops, it took me way too long to get this sucker out. So once you pull that nut out, it all comes out really easy. But anyway, yeah, I pulled this apart because this sucker, this pinion gear, is going away. Been waiting for a Spider parts car to pop up for a long time, and finally it just happened. And I'm going to use the Spider pinion gear because these teeth, there's one more tooth, and other than that, it's all basically the same. So that'll change the steering rack to a more current rack as far as the ratio goes. So it'll be less turns to lock. So yeah, when I'm doing autocross, it won't be as like, I won't have to move the wheel quite as much. So it'll be much nicer and much more current feeling. And that was kind of one of the few things on the car that definitely dated it. So pretty stoked to be getting this done. I got to pull the rack from the Spider and swap gears. So I got my Spider pinion gear. It's a little rusty at the top, so I'm gonna wire wheel it. I just covered in grease, trying not to get all dirty. And it basically looks exactly the same. It just has one more of these splines, so it turns a little quicker. So gonna clean this up down here and get it ready to install in the rack. All right, figured I'd do a little update here. So we got things happening. First, got some wheels on the car. This is a 18 by 10 plus 38 in the back, and fits pretty good. I think I can get a little bit more camber back here. Gotta adjust, still gotta do the full alignment and everything, but kind of just have it mocked up there as far as the side skirts go. So got a little bit of a glare here, hold on. So yeah, got the tire deflector on there. I still gotta make this bracket to hold it in at the end, but got the skirts finished for the most part. So that's just like some aluminum angle on the ABS to kind of help block off side entry air. Here are my fenders that I built. So these were some spare fenders that were in decent shape. I ended up cutting them just below the rub strip, so then you can still use the attachment points from the rub strip, and then got that tied down into the skirt so it'll help vent some pressure out from behind the tire. So pretty stoked on how those came out.
Oh shit!
What up, dog?
How's it going? Good morning.
Splitter mounted for the most part. I'm probably gonna end up making a new splitter just to kind of help tie into the width of the new fenders. But I wanted to mock up the mounting system first. So a little bit of aluminum angle there, and then this piece isn't bolted in yet, but it's just gonna help provide support across the whole splitter. Gonna try to do without some rods up at the front. Might do something for the sides, but I kind of got to get the bumper on and go from there. So that and sand and paint these fenders, but we're getting pretty close. And then that front was 17 by 9 plus 22. So this is, I think, as slow as I can really get the car, just with the gap in here. Let's see if I can get it to, yeah, I'm just like afraid with going too much lower that I'll hit the wheel on the unibody or tire on the unibody and just like cut it. That, and I'd probably have to go with a 6-inch spring instead of a 7 up front to get it much lower also. So, but the splitter's at right around 5 inches off the ground, maybe a little less, and then kind of slowly rakes to the back. So arrow-wise, that should be good. Lower in the front, higher in the back. But yeah, that's kind of the current status. Gonna try to knock this thing out for the most part in the next 2 weeks. Thanks for checking it out.